Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on all those hidden financial traps. You know, the ones that keep so many of us feeling stuck, even when we're technically earning more. Let's dive right in. It's a crazy paradox, isn't it? You look at your paycheck. It's bigger than it was last year. But that feeling of being financially secure, it just never seems to show up. Here's the thing. It's not just you. This is a system of very carefully designed traps. And today, we're going to expose every single one of them. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about the income illusion, why more money doesn't automatically equal more wealth. Then the endless debt cycle, which is designed to go on forever. After that, we'll look at the invisible drains, those sneaky little leaks that sink your budget. And finally, we'll get into the mindset traps, the very beliefs that keep us all stuck in the first place. Okay, first up, the income illusion. This is probably the biggest trap of all. It's this core belief that getting a raise is the finish line, but in reality, it's often just the starting line for a whole new set of problems. And this is the main culprit right here, lifestyle creep. You know how it goes. You get a promotion, so you think, okay, I can afford a nicer apartment now. You start making a little more, so eating out a few times a week doesn't feel like a big deal. Each little upgrade feels earned, it feels justified, but before you know it, your new upgraded lifestyle has swallowed that entire raise. The gap between what you earn and what you actually keep, it never gets any bigger. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly frames the problem. The real danger isn't just spending more. It's that you get comfortable with the same old financial stress. You just have nicer stuff around you while you're stressed out. You're working harder, but you're not actually moving forward. A massive part of lifestyle creep is ending up house poor. So the bank sends you that letter saying you're approved for, say, a $400,000 loan. And that feels like a green light, right? But what we forget is the bank approves the absolute maximum you can pay them back, not what you can comfortably afford. They're not factoring in if the water heater breaks or property taxes go up or, if you actually want to have a life outside of your mortgage payment. And just like that, your beautiful dream home becomes a financial prison. And that leads us directly into our second major section, the endless debt cycle. This is where small, seemingly harmless payments are perfectly engineered to keep you in debt pretty much forever. It all starts with that little number on your credit card statement, the minimum payment. Let's say you owe $3,000, but the minimum is only $60. That feels totally manageable, safe even. But here's the dirty little secret. Most of that $60 is just going to pay off the interest. Maybe $10, if you're lucky, actually chips away at the money you owe. The rest just vanishes, and your balance barely budges. So let this number really sink in. That $3,000 purchase you made, it will end up costing you $6,000. Double. And it'll take you over a decade to pay it off. And that's assuming you never, ever use the card again. That minimum payment, it's not there to help you. It's there to keep you hooked. And this is another classic cycle, the car payment treadmill. You go to the dealership, and they offer you a shiny new car with a lower monthly payment. Sounds great. But what they're actually doing is taking the money you still owe on your old car and rolling it into the new loan. Then they stretch the loan out from 5 years to 7. So yeah, your monthly payment is lower, but you're paying for way longer. And you're now upside down. You owe more than the car is even worth. You're basically just renting it from the bank forever. So why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we fall for these traps? Well, a lot of the time it's about keeping up appearances. We put vacations, fancy dinners, and designer clothes on credit cards to project this image of success. And the absolute craziest part? The very people we're trying to impress, they're way too busy financing their own image to even notice ours. We're all just faking it, assuming everyone else has it all figured out. Okay, that brings us to our third section, the invisible drains. Now, these aren't the big, obvious expenses like rent or a car payment. No, these are the slow, silent leaks that, drip by drip, end up sinking your entire financial ship. Just think about it for a second. That $7 delivery fee, that $15 a month subscription you forgot about. Each one by itself feels tiny. It's justifiable. I'm tired, I'm busy, I deserve this. But when convenience becomes your default setting, it stops being a shortcut and becomes a massive hidden expense. And when you actually do the math, it is absolutely staggering. All of those little harmless choices can easily add up to $4,000, $5,000, or even $6,000 a year. That's real money that could have paid off your credit card, started an investment account, or built that emergency fund you keep meaning to get to. Another one of these slow leaks is the brand loyalty tax. We automatically pay double for the name brand cereal or cleaner, just assuming it's better quality. But the truth is, in blind taste tests, most people can't even tell the difference. What you're really paying for isn't a better product. You're paying for the billions of dollars that companies spent on advertising to convince you their logo is somehow worth twice as much. Oh, and let's talk about whole life insurance for a minute. It's sold as this brilliant two-in-one product. You get life insurance and a savings account. But the reality is, you pay these huge premiums for a cash value account that grows at a pathetic 2 or 3%. If you had just bought cheap term life insurance instead and invested the difference in your premium, you could literally have hundreds of thousands of dollars more. It's a massive transfer of wealth from your family to the insurance company. All right, let's get to the final section, and honestly, this is the root of everything: the mindset traps. These are the internal beliefs we hold, the stories we tell ourselves. They make all the other financial traps even possible. The biggest one of all is what I call the emergency-free delusion. It's this quiet, unspoken belief that your life is just going to go smoothly, that your car won't break down, you won't get a surprise medical bill, your roof won't start leaking. But look, emergencies aren't a possibility, they are a statistical certainty. It's not a matter of if, but when. Living without an emergency fund isn't being an optimist, it's being one bad day away from a total financial disaster. And this perfectly illustrates the devastating cost of the "I'll start later" mindset. Thanks to the magic of compound interest, if you put away just $200 a month starting at age 25, you'll have over $500,000 by retirement. But if you wait until you're 40 to start that exact same habit, you end up with less than half of that. Time, not the amount of money, is the most powerful ingredient you have, and every year you wait, you're burning it. Let's hit 2 more quick mindset traps. First, retail therapy. That's when you shop to make yourself feel better, which creates debt, which makes you feel worse, so you shop again. See the cycle? And then there's the side hustle trap. That's where you're working 60+ hours a week, not to get ahead, but just to prop up a lifestyle you can't actually afford on your main salary. You're treating the symptom, not the disease. So, what's the common thread here? When you look at all of these traps together, what do they have in common? Every single one of them works by preying on our most basic human desires: the desire for comfort, the desire to signal our status to others, and the desire to make life just a little bit easier. The system knows this about us, and it is built to profit from it. But here's the good news. Just being aware of these traps, just seeing the mechanics behind them, that's the first step to taking away their power. It's the first step to escaping. So the real question isn't just about money, it's about choice. Now that you can see them clearly, which of these traps are you going to choose to dismantle first?